Hello everyone, I guess hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Today we are here with a video on which of the all-time great players are the most collected within the soccer card slash sticker collecting sphere. Thought that this would be a fun video. Obviously we're going to know some of the, top names. I have them up on screen now. That's really no surprise, of course. Hopping right into it, we'll talk about the process quickly before we go ahead and get on into the names. So first off, I will be taking the top 25 players of all time. This is based on a list I found online, so, don't throw any of your comments my way in regards to the list. I don't care. I mean, you can debate it in the comments and have fun with it. Trust me, I want you to do that, but I don't want people coming at me personally for the list. Now, I did try to find a list that I thought had a good variety of names. I didn't want to find a modern list that had Zlatan in the top 25 or something crazy like that. That wasn't what I was going for. I will say this doesn't have any pre-war. Miazza is actually at 26th, so it's going to be missing that category. Pre-war is very hard to compare to modern, so it's always going to be difficult, but just keep that in mind. Next up, I will be tallying sales over $500 on Card Ladder, so I'll take that from the last year, and we will take that number and then go ahead and rank them based on who has the most sales over 500, who has the least, and we'll sort of go about it that way. Finally, the more modern a player is, the higher that they'll rank, at least, in comparison to where they probably truly should rank, because with the addition of autos and numbered cards, that sort of helped cards achieve a higher price point because there is sort of a guaranteed scarcity or rarity at least behind them, and so that's an important factor to also note. With that said, though, let's go ahead and get on into it. We'll start with 25 and count our way on down. So at 25, we have Raymond Kopa. I guess you could debate again, 25, is he in it? Who knows? Ultimately, the list that I was looking at here had him at 18. Down at the bottom left, you'll notice all-time ranking, and then in the smaller text, I have 25, so that's where he ranks in terms of collectability, at least on this ranking. The total sales, $500 or more, are only 2, and the all-time high sale here is at $1,260 sale for this 1950 through 53, pretty rare sticker of Raymond Kopa right there. At 24, we have Romario. He comes in with 5 $500 plus sales. His all-time high is a $3,300 sale for this 1987 Abril Copa União. In terms of the all-time ranking, he was put at 25, so about where he is in regard to all-time high rankings is where he is in terms of collectability. That's not going to be the same for many people. There will be some pretty big disparities, so I think that that's fun to keep an eye out for. 23, we have Lothar Matthäus. $500 plus sales are in a total of 6. Honestly, does he rank in the top 25? Again, you can debate it. I'm not gonna. But all of the sales I could find for him, at least I'm pretty sure, maybe one of them wasn't, but I do believe all of them were numbered cards or auto cards. The all-time high being this $830 sale on this 1/1 Mosaic Black Auto. At 22, we have Didi. He comes in an all-time ranking of 17 and 22 in terms of collectability. $500 plus sales, he has 7. The all-time high being this $1,400 to $1,500 price on this 1951 Oliveira and Innocente Didi. Pretty good eye appeal on that. He always does look, like a pretty physically staunch type of player whenever you see him in these stickers, and that one's no different. At 21, we have Zico. He ranks at 15 all-time, 21 in terms of collecting. I didn't change the name up here. Don't mind that. I'll go ahead and do that right now so everyone can relax. But in terms of $500 sales, he has a 9, the all-time high being the $720 sticker right here. I will say he actually has 2 higher than this that I didn't put, but they were both Gold Bar Eminence cards, and you're really paying for the gold. You're not paying for Zico, so I sort of took those out, so, spare me that. At 20, we have Baresi. He comes in at 22 all-time, 20 in this list. $500 plus sales are mostly rookies for him, but he has 12, the top dog being this $2,500 1978 Panini Calciatore. At number 19, we have Gerd Muller. He has 14 $500 plus sales and an all-time high of 1710. That was paid for this 1965 Sicker Verlag. This has probably dropped a good bit since the all-time high sale. Nowadays, the highest is probably going to be a Bergman, but keep in mind we go a year back in terms of these sales, so there are some still pretty high 2023 sales. There are actually some all-time highs that just sort of happened a couple days ago, which is also interesting. All-time high rankings here for him. He is in 12th and 19 in terms of collecting. Next, we have Puskás, who has a pretty large discrepancy between all-time high rank and all-time sales in terms of collectability. He has 15 sales of $500 or more, and the all-time high being this 2,500 one from the same set as the Raymond Kopa that we saw earlier. Again, keep in mind, the number of sales on a lot of these guys, especially like a Puskás or a Di Stefano, are going to be pretty tricky considering that their rookie stuff isn't all that plentiful, and it's also, a lot of odd and ends, not in the sense that they aren't great, amazing items, but, they might have 3 different rookies in a few different years with different varying levels of attainability, and so it's really a hard puzzle to put together compared to, say, a more modern player like eventually a Haaland or Mbappe, where, I guess in another way you're sort of thrown for a loop in terms of anything you could buy. But I do think it's interesting. These types of players, we're not talking about any sort of slouches down here. Puskás, are you kidding? Gerd Muller, Baresi. These are amazing players, and they only have, low double digits, almost single digits in terms of $500 plus sales in the last year. Like, they might have one a month, essentially. Meanwhile, in modern, I couldn't imagine the amount of players that sell for $500 or more every single month. Now, of course, it's modern, but you get the idea. Eventually, one day, what is modern will not be modern, and, that is something to be accounted for. Next up is Garrincha. He sort of fits into that mold as well. All-time ranking at 10th, 17th in terms of collecting. He has 17 $500 plus sales, and this was the all-time high of the last year, at least. I guess I should note that a little bit better. The all-time high is the last year, but, I think that that's a good gauge. Nonetheless, 3,600 for this 1955 Vecchi. Not a true rookie, but the earliest one that's relatively attainable. Pretty high grade as well. A 4 is not easy, and that's got pretty good eye appeal. Next up is Marco van Basten. He comes in at 16, and 16 in terms of the rankings. $500 plus sales come in at a total of 18, and this was the top sale of $6,000 for his 1983 Panini Voteball PSA 7. Then we have Platini, all-time ranking on this list at 6th. Again, that would be something I would debate if I was debating this list, but none of the lists are going to be perfect, all right? In terms of collectability, 15th. At 18 $500 plus sales, the all-time high being this 1974 rookie form that came in at $14,700. That was very, very recent. It might have just been yesterday if I'm not mistaken. Next we have Bobby Charlton, all-time ranking 21, 14 in terms of collectability, 20 sales of $500 or more, and an all-time high of $3,250 for this flawless on-card auto. Then at number 13, we have Maldini. He has 25 sales of $500 or more, and the all-time high for him is $2,200 for this Panini Calciatore rookie. At number 12, we have Xavi, who has 28 sales of $500 or more, and an all-time high sale of $2,000 for this 1998 Panini Spanish Liga rookie sticker, PSA 9. Pretty hard to find, especially in a high grade like that. Then we have Di Stefano, who comes in at number 11. All-time high sale of $2,200 for this 1953 Bruguera hand-cut sticker here. In an 8.5, very high grade, of course. This was a bit surprising, at least to me. At number 10, we have Cruyff, who comes in with 35 sales of $500 or more. All-time high price being $17,400 for this PSA 9 1968 through 70 Vanderhoek Cruyff. The PSA label on that has been changed to 68 through 70 instead of 69, so just something of note. Not his most desired rookie, I would say, but a 9 is very, very difficult. You always have to be careful, though, looking at the backs of these. Sometimes PSA wildly misgrades them, at least in my opinion. Just something of note there. At number 9, we have Iniesta, who has 40 sales of $500 or more, the all-time high being $8,200, and that was for this 2002-2003 Panini Sports Iniesta Superliga de Estrellas. This is sort of an update set, and one of the, well, actually the most rare of the Iniesta rookies. PSA 10 came in at 8K, and his all-time ranking was probably, definitely the highest differential in terms of the lowest ranking player ranking the highest here. All-time ranking, at least in the list that I had, 24th, and he comes in at 9th in terms of collectability. At number 8, we have Eusebio here with 47 sales of $500 or more, the all-time high being this $13,800 sale that just happened probably a month or two ago for this Francesa 1962 Idolos dos Estadios. PSA 1, tons of Eusebio rare and really, really good-looking stickers from his rookie, just like this one here, so, can totally understand why it does the price that it does. All-time ranking, at least on the list that I found, 11th, and he comes in at 8th on this one. Number 7 in terms of collectability is Ronaldo Nazario Lima, who comes in at 111 $500 plus sales, the all-time high being this PSA 8 El Mundo Deportivo that sold for $8,700. All-time ranking 13th on this list, 7th. Moving down to 6th, we have Beckenbauer with 102 $500 plus sales, just barely edging out R9. The all-time high being 9,600 for this 1965-66 Sicker Verlag Tausen Tola Torre. PSA 7, really hard to get in that high of a grade. I believe the highest is a 9, but I don't think we've seen any of those come up. All-time ranking for him is 8th, and as we mentioned, 6th on this list. Breaking into the top 5 now, we have Zidane, who has a $500 plus sale total of 202. All-time high was this BGS sticker in a BGS 9 that went for 15.6 thousand. Paying all-time high prices for a BGS sticker that was graded somewhat recently. You know, a very bold strategy of whatever buyer that was, but ultimately that is the all-time high price sale that we have to look at. BGS has graded a lot of fake stickers if you are not aware, so unless you really know what you're looking for, generally I'd just stay away. But, you know, whoever was buying this seemed to either have a lot of confidence in themselves or not a lot of knowledge, one way or the other. Ultimately, all-time ranking for him is 14th, and he comes in at 5th, so, you know, probably someone that's more aided by being a more modern player and being a bit more sort of in the limelight of what people want to collect and going back for nostalgia, and I totally get it. That makes a lot of sense. At number 4, we sort of break into what I would consider to be the goats of goats category. Maradona has close to 500 sales of $500 or more, the all-time high being the $69,000 sale that just happened yesterday for a PSA 7 true rookie of his 1977 crack football. All-time ranking for him, 3 and 4th in terms of collectability, at least from this list that we're creating here. At number 3, maybe surprising, maybe not, we have Pele, who comes in with 1,405 $500 plus sales. All-time high sale being 168,000 for this PSA 7.5 Alifa, which has sort of been branded as the top dog in terms of Pele rookies, but there have been top dogs in the past that eventually weren't top dogs. So since soccer's still early days, that is, I guess, sort of up in the air, but the Alifa does appear decently often in high grade, and I think that definitely helps it. People, you know, especially big money spenders, like having 8s and 9s and all that stuff rather than, you know, finding a rare PSA 1 or 2. So I think that that's, you know, definitely aiding it. All-time ranking is 2nd in accordance to the list that I had, and 3rd in terms of collectability. More than likely, you could probably figure out who the top 2 are now, but let's go ahead and reveal them. So at number 2, we have Cristiano Ronaldo with close to 2,200 $500 plus sales, the all-time high being an $86,000 sale for this PSA 10 2002-2003 Panini Sports Mega Cracks card. The sale also just happened on the recent PWCC Premier Auction, so we had some pretty good results in terms of that. All-time ranking here on this list, or at least the list that I was referencing, is 4th, and in collectability is 2nd. And yeah, I mean, I guess we could probably guess, but number 1 is Lionel Messi in terms of $500 plus sales, 4,292. All-time high sale being $322,000 for this rookie Messi card, and that actually is the all-time high sale, at least in accordance to his rookies. I don't know if there might have been a 1-of-1 that did more, but I'm not quite sure. But the 71 Bis PSA 10 has basically stood the test of time even throughout this whole sort of boom and bust. It hasn't really busted. Now, I think the World Cup definitely helped with that, but ultimately it is sort of interesting to see. And in terms of all-time ranking, both on the list and in terms of collectability, number 1 and number 1 unsurprisingly. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video of the most collected players in soccer, at least in terms of the all-time grades. I didn't really want to, you know, throw in sort of odd and end players that are pretty highly collected but might be 100 to 200 and they're just mostly collected because they're more modern. I think this was sort of a fun video, at least in terms of just getting a general gauge of what's going on. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. It helps me, it helps the channel. Would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments in terms of what you thought about the rankings, what stuck out to you. And if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.